Hey everybody, it's your girl Jen. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here with me all the way from the beginning, thank you. I do love you and I do appreciate you. I know it's been a while, but shit happens. Life happens. So, guess what today is? It's Sunday. Sexy Sunday. Okay, so today, on Sexy Sunday, I thought I'd talk about something near and dear to my heart. The rarest of babes. You know, uh, those hot-tempered, crimson-locked redheads. And y'all, according to the truth about redheads, it's an online article that I read. Redheads are described as either fiery and dangerous or clownish and weak. Now, I don't know which category I fall into. Most of the people that subscribe to my channel actually know me, and you all know which category I fall into. Now, this article that I read stated that most are geeks in public, but wild in the bedroom. Now, according to some people, redheads don't have a soul. So, they will steal yours. Coming for your soul. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Anyway, I mean, really? Most of you know that I'm a redhead. I just bleach it, but I was born a redhead. and, but I've kept it, bleached all these years, mostly due to a lot of those myths and stereotypes that people do, and the fact that I really just didn't like my red hair at all. Now, the list of myths and stereotypes go on, showing just how stigmatized people with red hair they really are. But now let's just set those aside and let's, all that red-headed stepchild jokes and all, that stuff, and see what attributes make us redheads different from our blonde or brunette counterparts. And personally, I think a lot of it is just a family trait because there are people in my family who are just as fiery as me. um, but that's beside the point. Now, first, let's find out what makes our hair so crimson and the skin so pale. Science proves that being a redhead is not the same as being a blonde or a brunette, and that is because gingers, another word for a redhead, are different on a generic level. And y'all, I'm sure that is why it is so hard to convincingly fake it. So, let's get a little bit geeky here since they seem to think redheads are, and go all science about it. There is a mutation on the MCR gene according to the National Institutes of Health. And basically, this mutation increases the amount of red pigment. And I'm going to say this word, but I may be pronouncing it wrong. It's phacomelanin. Phacomelanin in gingers and decreases the darker pigment melanin. Hopefully I got those pronunciations right, but anyway, it's just a mutation. Well, that is what causes the fair skin and freckles, and the pale colored eyes and the red hair. And y'all, I might be an odd redhead because I don't have really, really fair skin and I don't have pale eyes at all. And that is why redheads have to be careful in the sun. It is due to the lack of that melanin. Now I do burn when I go in the sun too long, but generally I get a light tan, but never that golden brown that brunettes get. I never really get that golden brown, and we all know that blondes are fairer skinned. They don't get that tan either. But redheads, they make up a higher percentage of the population in Northern and Western Europe. But now, believe it or not, redheads are only 2% of the worldwide population. And if we look at everyone as a species, gingers are a rarer breed and are greatly outnumbered. Oh, but there is a reason for gingers to be so rare. The main reason is that being a redhead is a recessive trait, which means in order to be born with those fiery locks, both parents have to be a carrier of the gene that makes redheads. And I know both my parents carried the gene. My grandmother on my mom's side was a redhead, and my grandfather on my dad's side was. So, needless to say, me and my sister both have red hair. But y'all, my children are blonde, and my grandchildren are blonde. My sister's kids, they're not redheads either. So, it may be safe to say that the next redhead in our family tree may be a bit farther down. Maybe the grandbabies will marry a guy that carries the redhead gene. Or alas, it will fade out of our family, at least out of my immediate family. You know, since neither parent has to be a redhead, a ginger baby may be a surprise. You know, my dad was a blonde and my mom a brunette, so I'm sure they were thoroughly surprised to get two little red-haired beauties. The rarest kind of redhead now is the one with blue eyes. So just because your parents don't have red hair doesn't mean the kids that they have won't have red hair. And the reason why blue eyes is the rarest trait with redheads is that it's because both the red hair gene and the gene for blue eyes are both recessive genes. So when you have two recessive genes, it makes it very rare to get two of those recessive genes at one time. And I was surprised, y'all, to find out that redheads are used most often in commercials, and that's especially during peak television viewing hours. Like 30% of them, like 30% of the commercials at peak viewing hours will have a redhead in them. And when you remove commercials without people, the percentage goes up 33%. I guess it just goes to show everybody loves a ginger. And, you know, I've always said you can fill a room full of the most beautiful women in the world, right? Big blue eyes, long blonde hair, nice hips, the hourglass figure, busty, the boobs and all. You send in a plain Jane redhead, send a man through that room, and he'll remember the redhead. I mean, I don't know why that is, but it's just the way it is. And remember when I said the commercials, you know about the commercials? They speculate that the reason why redheads are so commercialized is because they are so photogenic. And I don't buy that. I'm not photogenic at all. Not at all. And while some people think that, others think it's due to the positive reaction got from seeing the color red. Now, the most surprising thing I learned was that not all redheads are white. I always thought it only occurred in white people, and that's not a racist thing, it's a genetic thing, you know, because the fairer skin and all of that, right? And it's because of the pigment and stuff. But I was wrong. According to the Big Redhead book, there are redheads of color all over the world. And that is due to, you know, the migration. People migrate from one place to another, so they, yeah, for lack of anything else, mixed breed. um, so I find that very fascinating. I really do. And the gene that gives ginger their unique coloring don't just affect the way they look. In a strange twist, gingers also feel pain and respond to pain-killing agents differently. than their blonde and brunette counterparts. I mean, I always wondered why I hated dentists and why it was so hard to get numb for the dentist to work on my teeth. Well, y'all, as it turns out, redheads are more resistant to lidocaine, and that is what the dentist uses. Also, red-haired people are more resistant to local anesthetic than others. And that was according to the studies by the National Institutes of Health, which also, according to another study, found that redheads need more anesthetic on the operating table. And that was a study found in the Journal of Anesthesiology. And it found that redheaded women required a percentage more of the anesthesia desflurane. I don't know exactly what that means, what that word is, but it means the drug that's required to be put to sleep. And they require more than women with dark hair. Now, according to some scientists, the protein mutation that causes red hair and fair skin makes redheads more sensitive to pain. And therefore, it's more difficult to put them under before an operation. And science proves that us redheads are just wired differently and are not lying or being overly dramatic about the pain of medical procedures and dental procedures. And, here's another interesting piece of information. According to Science Daily, redheads respond better to opioids than non-ginger ladies and men. Also, redheads make more vitamin D in the body than the rest of the people, and that is due to evolution and their concentration historically in cloudy European countries, which then helped them to manufacture more vitamin D effectively today. So, which makes redheads less likely to have a vitamin D deficiency. And that means they're at a less of a risk for conditions like diabetes, rickets, and arthritis. Do y'all think we won the generic lottery yet? Sure sounds like it. If not, there is more. Redheads are super efficient when it comes to adrenaline. That explains why I never panic in emergencies and why I love roller coasters. And here is how. Redheads produce more of the hormone compared to regular folks and also can access it more speedily. That means we can operate better in a flight or fight situation. And that gives us a better chance of survival. Maybe that is the explanation as to why redheads are known for having a fast and fiery temper. Or why, y'all, my husband says if you marry a redhead, you better get an owner's manual so you can learn how to handle them. And that's not a proven fact, but it could be due to all the extra adrenaline. There are also studies that show redheads are more vulnerable to the extremes of hot and cold temperatures. And it's thought that it's caused by the temperature detecting gene working overtime. So it's literally affecting how temperatures are perceived more on a genetic level. Yeah, this was the craziest part. Redheads even smell different. Oh, yeah. Everyone has their own natural smell, right? But redheads have such a unique biochemistry that they smell completely different from the rest of the population. And this was actually recorded way back in 1866 by Dr. Augustin Galpin. This doctor did a study of smell to see if hair color changed your smell. And according to him, red-headed women smelled like ambergris. And I looked that up to find out what that was. And it is a sweet, earthy smell. And that could be due to the skin mantle of the redhead. The skin mantle of the redhead is more acidic than everyone else's, which means when we use perfume, we would have to apply, or scented oils or anything like that, we would have to, it won't last as long, and we'd have to apply it more frequently. And that is bizarre to me, but according to science, it's true. Now, there are some disadvantages to being a redhead, just like anything else, other than being teased for being a redhead. They are more susceptible to developing skin cancers like melanoma, and in addition to that, redheads are more prone to Parkinson's disease. Also, redheads are more likely to be left-handed due to recessive genes. Um, they typically come in pairs. Well, I am left-hand dominant, but I can use my right. I think I call it ambidextrous. When I was first started school, they didn't really teach you to write with your left hand, so I was taught to write with my right. And I think that was a lot. That's true for a lot of the lefties, from when I was growing up and stuff. I also found out that while doing this research, that redheads will never turn gray. That's right. Now, according to many scientific findings, the pigment in red hair will just fade over time, causing their hair to turn blonde or white, but never gray. Now, I'm not going to say that this is not good news to me since I have decided not to continue bleaching my hair. So the next time you see me, my roots will be out longer because I am going to let my red grow out. I mean, I've just decided to let the red grow out, and show it off. Might as well, as I'm getting too old to keep bleaching it anyway. Now, scientists have also found that bees are more attracted to red hair. And research has found that this is most likely due to their hair's resemblance to bright flowers. Now, mine's not really a resemblance to bright flowers whenever, it's all the way red, but my sister's definitely is. Well, now I feel a lot better about being a redhead. Hope anybody else out there watching it, they feel better about it too. And no wonder everyone seems to find redheads so irresistible. Maybe it's the rarity of us, or maybe it's the fire that comes in the bedroom, or maybe it's the fair skin against the rich crimson hair, or maybe it's the temper. But no matter what it is, redheads are definitely different from everyone else. And there are so many different shades of red hair. But the one thing that is for sure, if you dye your hair red, it is very noticeable. It's very noticeable that it's not a real red color. And I think that's because they have not found a way to successfully get the right color in a bottle. And anyway, I started down this crimson fiery path. So the next video may be the best colors for the redhead to wear. And I did do one on the best colors for brunettes. That's probably on my playlist. But anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's a free way to help the girl out. And until next time, bye!